Welcome to the Schaefer Method, the guide to your health. This is level 4. So the 5 essentials to life, they are food, sleep, water, oxygen, and sunlight. My whole website and process is built on these 5 things. Now these things are extremely important. Without them, we don't live. Our society doesn't live. The human race probably doesn't live. So they're very crucial to our existence. So think about it. How long can you live without any one of those? Yeah, sunlight, maybe you can go quite a while without that. But for the most part, we need it all for survival and for life. Now, we will get into exercise also. Exercise can be important if implemented properly, but it's not nearly as important as the 5 essentials to life. Throughout this level, we'll be covering most of the 5 essentials. So who is level 4 for? Level 4 is for the people that are most likely frustrated with their health and wellness, but have made some strides. Maybe you're starting some new things. You're starting to try new things and you're reading more about health and you're probably getting confused more often because you hear something on TV that says one thing and then you go buy it, but it's a new fad that goes away in a couple months. Hopefully we can start to clarify and clear up some of this confusion. Level 4 should also last between 1 to 2 weeks. If it takes longer, that's fine. Take an extra week or 2. There's no rush. It's just trying to retrain your process, your mind, and your body to do it a little differently and find a way that works best for you. Expect to do things different than you've done before. Expect some challenges. I'm going to ask you to do things that maybe seem counterintuitive, but give it a try and see how you feel. You'll be surprised on how well your body can feel when you start to provide the proper nourishment and the proper rest and the proper hydration and the proper exercise or activity. Breakfast. The goal for breakfast is to reduce the processed and packaged foods. Trying to get rid of the foods that are frankly just not that good for us. If it comes out of a box or a package, it's just not that nourishing. Does that mean that we can never have that? No, it doesn't mean that. But more often, we should eat fresh foods for breakfast. American breakfast it was created 100 years ago. And we're going to try to get back closer to what would do best for most people. We're going to try to reduce the sugar for breakfast. When we eat a lot of sugary or high carbohydrate foods for breakfast, it tends to give us the ups and downs through the day. Our energy levels kind of messed up. We tend to crave more sugar later in the day, which ultimately forces common weight gains and low energy comes from this. We tend to eat unhealthy things when that happens. For breakfast, we're going to try to get 6 out of 7 days. So one day you can go out and enjoy your breakfast, whatever you want, but 6 of those 7 days, we're going to try to keep breakfast as consistent as possible. That's the first meal of your day. Now, a couple tips. Men tend to be okay with the heavier meats for breakfast, the steak or the chicken and the pork and elk or rabbit, whatever it is that they eat. Ladies tend to lean more towards eggs. You can overdo eggs, so I want you to be careful with that. Try not to only have eggs all the time. So explore with your other options. Maybe try a little chicken or a little pork. But what really works well for women is making a hearty soup with a lot of vegetables and some lean protein, some chicken, turkey, or beef, or some seafood. And have that soup. It's great. You can make a whole bunch in the beginning of the week. You can eat it throughout the week. We can also start talking about maybe bringing in a protein shake as a replacement. Although it's extremely important, we find one that has a very low sugar content. It can have some carbohydrates, but it should be a good amount of fiber, should be those carbohydrates. And that's also another replacement that we can use. It's not as good as the real food, but it's still a really good substitute when that time comes. Our goal for lunch is once again to reduce the processed and packaged foods. Lunch, it's so easy to have a salad these days for lunch. So that's usually my go-to meal for lunch. You can have a nice piece of protein with that. You can have lots of vegetables. You can even have a little fruit on your salad. But it's really, really crucial that we want to eat the freshest foods for lunch. It's easy to do. It's available anywhere. If you need to go to a restaurant to have it, or you can make it at home. We're going to try to do lunch 3 out of 7 days. So once again, to clarify the days here, it doesn't have to be the whole week. It doesn't have to be Monday to Monday. It can be Wednesday to Wednesday. If you mess up somewhere along the way through this level, just start the level over. You don't have to wait 7 days to start the whole thing over. If you mess up by the day 4, just go ahead and start the next day, the next week, or the next 7-day period on Thursdays. Water for this level will be 7 out of 7 days. By now, you should have the ability to drink your water goal for 7 days. So this week it's 60 ounces. So that's just a little bit less than the recommended 64 ounces, which is fine. But try to get 60 ounces of water every day. It'll help you increase hydration. It'll help reduce the sugary soft drinks or the drinks that are just not as healthy as others. It'll also increase your energy. Just a little bit of dehydration has a huge impact on our energy levels. So we really want to improve our energy. It's important that we don't drink too much water while we eat. We want to try to avoid a lot of water during our meal. It messes up our digestive system. It slows down digestion. You don't absorb the nutrients as well. So we ideally want to drink our water in between our meals and not while we eat. But it's also important that we drink most of our water early in the day. Try not to drink too much at night so you get up to go to the bathroom, because then that interferes with our sleep, which we're trying to improve. Sleep is crucial. It's what helps us recover every day from our life. And if we don't sleep, if you ever go a few days with really poor sleep, or you stay up all night, you feel like crap the next day. You don't have very good energy. Your joints maybe a little achy. You look like crap. You look like you aged overnight. And poor sleep for a long period of time basically ages us faster. So our beauty is very much within our sleep. It's also within our food and our hydration, but it's really important we try to improve our sleep. So for this phase, we're going to try to get 6 out of 7 nights. We're going to try to get our sleeping to 6 to 8 hours. Now, you may not sleep the entire way through the night, but just give your body the chance, at least rest for that amount of time so that it can feel better the next days. If you're having sleep problems, we're going to slowly try to address that throughout the phases and throughout the levels. It's really important that we try to keep that room as dark as possible. Try to keep your lights off. If you have to have a nightlight on, just keep it low to the ground so it doesn't see your eyes. And try to shut the TVs and the video games or the computer off an hour before you go to bed. It will help so much by quieting the brain down, getting your brain waves to start to think about sleeping, and you will sleep a lot better. Exercise. Now we're up to 3 days of exercise for this level. If you exercise more than that, then continue exercising more, but just please watch the videos at either your beginning level or intermediate level of exercise and activity. Watch the video. That'll help you determine your activity and exercise starting points. If you're new to exercise, then if you want to start with just an activity, if it's walking, if it's a biking, if it's hiking, if it's swimming, I don't care, but just start somewhere. I just want you moving your body and start to feel better. If it's 10 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. Let's just start improving it right now. Extra effort. This is one of my favorite parts of my program. This level, we're going to focus on being grateful. We can have a grateful log, which could be something by your bedstand. It could be something at work. Just write down 10 things, 20 things that you're grateful for, things that you take for granted. And it could be your car. It could be your husband and your wife. My wife and I, we actually use this during our dinner. When we say grace, we talk about what we're grateful for in our lives and try to really remember what really is important. Also, try something new. Make a new recipe. Try a new food. Explore new options so that we don't get sick and tired of doing the same things all the time. And then I also gave you one that's a little bit of a curveball. It's make eye contact with somebody, a stranger. We tend to put our heads down. We don't tend to look people in the eye anymore, and just it's actually overwhelmingly powerful when you get used to looking up and looking somebody in the eye. It actually feels good. And so I encourage that. Connect with other human beings out there and try not to rush through your day, but just take the moment and just make eye contact. Now, don't stare too long because then you might get, somebody make you feel like a little creepy or whatever, but just make eye contact where it's just a moment and just be conscious of that. All right, feel free to contact me at any time if you have questions. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. And please finish the entire level 4 before you move on. Now, there might be a point in there where it's a little, you're having a hard time with, or it's something you're just not ready for. If it's your work schedule or something that's interfering with your sleep and you can't get all 6 days in there, don't let it hold you back. But for the most part, you should be able to achieve all these things, especially if your goal is to really improve your overall health and to achieve all your goals that you want for your health. Think about this process as resetting your default. Most people that are on my site are here to improve themselves. They're trying to improve their health, their weight, their mood, their attitude, whatever it is. Think of it, that is your current default. Right now, those things are your current default. And you're trying to be different, so we need to change to do that. And this process is going to help us reset that. It's going to help give you a chance to give you a new default that will hopefully be much more satisfactory and ultimately lead you to a much better health. Now, once again, it's important to finish all the levels. Once you finish the level, just go to the bottom of the page, hit level complete, and I'll see you at level 5.